Fair use. 2 Corinthians 13:8. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. Now, the main objective that these people was trying to do was debunk the truth. And only thing they did was speak up for the truth and prove the reason why this statement is being said. See, and prove why it is a so-called white man's religion. That's all they did was prove that it was a white man religion. They didn't pull out no scriptures. See, they didn't break down the scriptures and show how it's not. They didn't show you Christianity in the Bible. See, they didn't even give you good news. Even when they went into the good news, they was proving their point that it was going against what these people is talking about in their religion. Let's go and get into another part of what this man was saying.
You talked a lot about, you gave a lot of great information about the context, the greater context, historical and all that. Why is this question of is Christianity the white man's religion always posed? Why is it always associated with Christianity? I mean, we have all these other religions, right? Islam, we have the Eastern religions, Hinduism and Buddhism and Judaism and all these other religions. Why don't we say is Christianity is Islam the white man's religion? Is Buddhism the white man's religion? Why is it uniquely always associated with Christianity? We'll go around.
Yeah, I think that it has to do with the fact that it was primarily white people who decided to pick Christianity as their puppet religion that they would use to really mask their own political and colonial goals and just slap Christianity on. It could have been Islam, it could have been Buddhism, it could have been any other religion, and then people would have a similar reaction. But it happened to be Christianity, which, as I mentioned a moment ago, was the religion that their ancestors of the Roman Empire were persecuting and were very much against. Saw that Greco-Roman identity as opposed to Christianity, but then in the 4th century became fused with it, and now we've dealt with 1,700 years of white supremacist, Western, Eurocentric Christendom, I say, rather than Christianity, and I think that that's why we've seen that. And I think that it's this dynamic that we're dealing with. I truly believe that the perception that Christianity is not a white man's religion. It's not any one person's religion, because
you see, he just kicked himself in the foot because he proving the facts. But when you go into what he said the 4th century. See, this is why they are totally blind. And then he said for 1,700 years, totally blind. Now let's go into, let's see if I can go to Google without them trying to cut my video off. They like to play games like that when you. Let's go into Google real quick and show how this thing was not no Christianity was not in the Bible, and it was not presented in Constantine. Constantine didn't present nothing. Okay, first of all, let's get Macron. Let's get Macron and show who started this movement. Okay, it says in the year 144, let's get his teachings. See, Macron said that the teachings of Christ are incompatible with the actions of the God of the Old Testament. That's why you got these Christians talking about the New Testament all the time. And then he say focusing on Pauline traditions of the gospel. See, they always going to Paul. The first thing they do They try to prove Christianity is in the Bible, especially Roman Universal Christian followers of Christ. See, meaning universal, all nation. When they go into that all nation mess and it's about faith, you pulling out something that started in 144 AD. It says Macron felt that all other concepts of the gospel, especially any association with the Old Testament religion, see that it was only for the children of Israel, was opposed to and a backsliding from the truth. See, this is what Christianity presents. So this it didn't start in no 400 with no Constantine. That's a bold-faced lie. And these people got all this research and they supposed to be professors, but they don't know the truth. And they certified can't stand with the truth, and they don't. And the only thing they're gonna do is expose that they are ignorant. Now, when you go into another one, we can get off Macron because do your own research if you don't know. Let's see here. Let's go into what is it? Nerva, Roman Emperor. See, now they don't whitewash this situation. Nerva was Roman Emperor from 96 to 98. It says Nerva became emperor when aged almost 66. So this is an old man that's got wisdom. See, some of our men dying at 66. It say after a lifetime of imperial service under Nero and the succeeding rulers of the Flavian dynasty under Nero, he was a member of the imperial entourage and played a vital role in exposing the conspiracy of 65. So he pretty much was a major coon. But uh, he was the dynasty that he was in was a family at the end of the day, and this dynasty was Israelite dynasty, and even from him up to which one you get in 193, 193 you got another one. Salakia. Let me put Emperor. Roman. Yeah. Salakia. I meant 193. Salakia. Yo, we just gonna debunk these people real quick. Now look at Septimius. And the reason I'm using Septimius because he his history shows you where these people was coming from. Look at here it says he was born in Leptis Magna in the Roman province of Africa. You see, and he was a part of he was the end of when this man had already been, the Israelites had already been taken over in 96. See, because they was over there cooning, and they was a part of the Greek captivity, and it transferred into the Roman captivity, and he was under Nero cooning for the darn Nero. See, at trying to coon, and we always have a coon in our freaking nation, and they try to come up just like them Negroes up in the White House, the 50 congressmen. See, you got why you got these people got us in heavy captivity and heavy oppression. You got 50 Negroes in the Senate, see, ruling, living on the hog, getting paid major paychecks, and running their mouth on the news and the TV. So this ain't nothing strange that these individuals that was in the Roman military, see, and look at the bottom, it say the year of the 5 emperors. See, this was a dynasty of Israelites who was ruling, and they was living in close to their homeland. See, around in the Africa area, not over there in Rome. But that joker Macron, he was in Rome. See, he was a redneck Edomite from Rome. Cause I'm finna get into the evidence. So from this point in time, we was ruling. Them jokers ain't take over to the 1492, the Byzantine Empire. Let's get that. See, all of that, what you call it, Constantine, that was the Byzantine Empire. That was not no rednecks. And just like they whitewashed Yahweh Shah, who they ignorantly called Jesus Christ, this is the same reason. It's the same way they did this. See, the fall of Constantinople to the fall of the Constantinople, Salakia. Let me go back. See, I knew they were gonna do something. Okay, it says fall of Constantinople, meaning Constantine, to the Ottoman Empire in 1453. See, we ruled from when what you call it? What's the good dude name? Nerva, 96, all the way to 1453. See, they took over. The Arabs went in there and started fighting against us. And then the so-called Edomites, the so-called white men, joined in with the Roman, with the what you call it, Renaissance, because you got another guy. Let's see if I can find him, who had the poem and created the Africa and that scene that it wasn't about no Africa. Hold on, let's see, the poem Africa. That's gonna pull him up. Salakia. The poem Africa, he the one started talking about Afrikaners, and he created the word Africa. See, let me run into his name. It's French something. You know Google and these people eavesdropping. Okay. Let me put in Afrikaners. Because this was a famous poem in Europe. Here we go. It says Africa is an epic poem in Latin hexameters by the 14th century. See, 1453, Italian poet Petrarch Francesco Petrarca, whatever his name, it tells the story of the Second Punic War. So in 1453, he went in and went to talking about Scipio Africanus and created the word Africa. And then he went to talking about the Dark Ages. Why was he talking about the Dark Ages? Okay, let me focus on his name, because they didn't want to pull it up, because they trying to hide the history. See, this is what these dragons do. What was he known for? Early Renaissance. See, in the 1400s, they was having a Renaissance, and he was the one that was starting it off. Because he was focusing on when we was ruling from 96 to 1453, when he went to running his mouth and putting out his agenda on the situation. Look, this dragon, it says he was a humanist. See, he went into talking about we was ruling before these Negroes took over, pretty much, and he went into trying to investigate Latin. See, the Tuscans Tuscan dialect Latin. He went into pulling out all the history on that. Let's go into him and see if we can get this Dark Ages, because I want to prove all things. Because that was another. There it is. It says down here. See, they putting all this stuff on. Anyways, right here, the last paragraph, it says he was admired and Emma I can't even read no more. Imitated throughout Europe during the Renaissance and became a model for lyrical poetry. He is also known for being the first to develop the concept of dark ages, because he was researching and seeing that when you listen to the people talk about him, they gonna straight up tell you he had a notion. They gonna try to whitewash it, but he had a notion that his people, we so-called white peoples, we wasn't ruling at that time. See, and we was ruling before the 96, and we need to get back to that. And the Byzantine Empire was ruling after Tibius and those emperors pretty much started the rulership off. It developed into the Byzantine Empire with Constantine and them starting to uh, deal with the canon of the Bible, putting all of the books together. But Macron, the Edomite in Rome, he was already making his own books. See, he was putting his own books out and taking books out of the just deleting the Old Testament off the rip and keeping the New Testament and taking some of the New Testament out, with probably Peter saying that the Israelites is God's chosen people. See, but let's get some more on what he said about that they've been for 17 um thousand years, these dragons been ruling, which they haven't, or been dealing with the scriptures. They haven't. Now when you go into what is it? The Enlightenment era. See, all you got to do is go into Google and it'll tell you what's going on. But that's why he said in Psalm 64 that they gonna expose themselves. This is the nature of these Edomites. Now when you go into here, it says the 17th and the 18th century you had a major enlightenment period that these people in Europe was having. And so it says in 1637, 1687, 1681, they start calling themselves white people. See, and once they started that, this is when you had white people and black people and brown, all these colors. That's another thing. The dude, they talking about black and African. See, you using all this stuff because them Christian Ku Klux Klan members is the one that started all that crap, and they started it in the 1700s. See, in 1915, with the birth of a nation and the Ku Klux Klan re-emerging, they had been emerged way back in the 1700s. See, and them Germans over there, they was having the Enlightenment, and they was stealing. That's why you had German, so-called German Jews, because they was stealing and formulating. Let's go ahead and get it out the scripture. We can get that part out the scriptures for sure. See, them dragons was already formulating the plan. You go into the Enlightenment period and where it was going down. It was going down in Germany. That's why in World War II, Germany was the major focus, and when they was trying to go over there and steal the homeland. But you go to Micah, chapter 2, it say, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light." See, when the period of enlightenment, the enlightenment era, when in the 1700s, 16 to 1700, 1681, they was being enlightened. They was having universities, and they was thinking, dealing with psychology, dealing with learning how the brain work. They was learning all these philosophies and stuff. And this is what Illuminati in 1775, 1776, when they start to develop. What's that? 1700 Enlightenment period. That's when you come up with the plan to get slavery and build this country in America. See, they had the plan already written down. They just didn't jump out there and say, let's go down there and pay some Hamites to get these Israelites. No, they had the plan already formulated in their colleges that they've been spending years and decades formulating the plan. With the dude Blumenblock, when he talking about some skin complexion or the size of the skull. See, he had three categories. He had the Caucasian, the Negroid, and the Asian Mongoloid, and they just some Down syndrome children of Lot. Now it says when the morning is light. That's the Enlightenment period. This is when these Edomites was sitting around and they was formulating the plan how to steal the identity of the Israelites and to how to hide it. They practice it. See, they was practicing in the college, the university, because it is in the power of their hand. And what were they practicing? They covered fields. How we gonna get the land of Israel? And to take them by violence and the houses and to take them away. So they oppressed a man in his house, even a man and his heritage. How can we take the heritages away from these people? We need to come up with a skin category. See, skin complexion category or skull category. Let's get off of this. What you who your father is and your dynasty run back to this man and then you go back to that man. Let's get them off of that. See, look at verse 4. It say, "In that day shall one take up a parable against you and a lament with a doleful lamentation and say, we be utterly spoiled. He have changed the portion of my people." See, of your heritage. How have he removed it from me? See, he done stole my heritage. Turn away, he have divided our fields. Now, who is this he? Look at what it says in verse 12. It say, and this is who mainly was doing it, these people that started Babylon the Great America. It say, "I will surely assemble, O Jacob, all of thee. See, this is when the gathering of Israel is going to be happening. See, because this captivity is how he's gathering them also. It says, I will surely gather the remnant of Israel. I will put them together as the sheep of Bozrah. See, Bozrah is the Edomites, the so-called white men. This is the jokers, and it's right here in America because this is their stronghold. But even then, Germany was the stronghold of these dragons before they built this place. Their stronghold was Germany. See, Germany was the Teemanites when they was having uh, most of the inventions and the education coming out. The Enlightenment period was in Germany. As a flock in the midst of their fold, they shall make great noise by reason of the multitude of men. So that was pretty much the evidence that these people don't know what they're talking about. They just prove, and see, you see, they kicked it off my thing. They just prove that the so-called Christianity is no part of the Bible, man. It's not. The Bible is not talking about bringing in some other people, and they would run to Paul and go to pulling out this false Gentile mess, and it ain't in there. You can't find it. Now let's go into one of my favorite verses. Now, the pretty much let's just go to the verse. The pretty much show what Paul' mission was and what was going on. Okay, where is it? Cause it might be 4 or 3. I know it's in Ephesians. Ephesians 2:19. Oh. Here it is. 2:19. This is what Paul was doing. It had nothing to do with going and finding some other people. This was talking about him finding the Israelites. It said, now therefore, you are no more strangers and foreigners. They always run to the Ethiopian. He was a stranger and a foreigner, but he was an Israelite. See, same thing with the so-called Samaritan woman and any other person that you can think of, who even they run to Cornelius, and he was in Caesarea in the heart of Israel. They run to him and try to say he's somebody just because it's a Italian band. They don't know we was all in the mix of them people government. It says, but fellow citizens with the saints. He trying to make the ones that was strangers, the ones that was foreigners outside of Israel, who was banished or who just didn't know that they was an Israelite. He trying to make them fellow citizens with the saints. This is what Paul's mission was all about, man. And of the household of God. He trying to tell them people, you not know Ephesians just because you come from Ephesus. See, you is not know Corinthians just because you come from Corinth. You was only here because you was under the Greek captivity. See, and the Greek said that let's go to that real quick. While I'm saying it, I can go to it. 2nd Maccabees 6:9. Okay. It says, and whosoever would not conform themselves to the manner of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery. So this is what the situation was. You in Corinth because you would have been, your peoples would have been put to death if they didn't give up that Israelite identity. See, they didn't give up that Jewish so-called Jew identity. calling themselves a Jew. And this is what these people want to reject. But see, that's why we know most of them is having a covenant with these people. It said neither was it lawful, so it's against the law, for a man to keep the Sabbath and the ancient feasts and to profess himself at all to be a Jew. This is why Apostle Paul was coming to them people in these other nations and telling them, you not know uh, whatever you calling yourself. You're not a Jamaican, you're not a Haitian, you're not a Cuban, you're not a Mexican, Venezuelan. See, you're not none of them names that these people are throwing on you, or what the landmass is called. You go back to the Israelites. It's a major promise and a major what you call it, inheritance that you have with that. Only if you put faith in Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who they even call Jesus Christ. This is what Paul was saying to them. You are no more strangers and foreigners. You can you could be a fellow citizen with the rest of the Israelites, because the saints are the Israelites. See, the saints ain't just somebody from some other nation that want to hear about the family of the Israelites and the inheritance of the Israelites. See, because it went from Abraham, Isaac to Jacob. That's where that inheritance and that promise went to. It didn't leave. He gonna make a deal with Abraham and send it to Isaac. Why you could have just made it with Abraham and sent it to everybody. Why did you stop with Abraham? Why didn't he stop with Abraham? That was his friend, and he want to bless all nations. Well, just give it to all nations. Whoever have faith in Abraham, the God of Abraham. Why you got to give it to your child? Because the promise was to give it to the children. Same thing with Jacob. The promise was to give it to Jacob's children. It wasn't to give it to everybody, because Esau had his promises. Ishmael had his promises, and they received them. See, them Arabs over there got major kingdoms and governments. They got the so-called white men scared to even invade them. Edomites, they got major kingdoms and governments. They got Arabs scared to invade them, and the Chinese and anybody else scared to invade their countries. See, and the Negroes don't even got a chance to invade nobody. They don't got a military. So the only people that need salvation is the Israelites, man, and who have lost their identity and that need their identity to unite. See, the other people, they got their unification going, so they don't. Their identity is something low level, because they're receiving their blessing and their that the Lord got for them. So the Edomites don't need to know that they're Edomites, so they can rise up and unite and get together. They already got it. The Arabs don't need to know that they're Ishmaelites, because they already got their kingdoms. See, he promised Ishmael to have 9 princes, 9 kingdoms. Same thing with the Edomites. They got 10 horns, 10 kingdoms. They got their kingdoms. See, the East Indians, they got their land. The the Chinese and Japanese, they got their lands. They don't need to know who they are so they can come back and get their land, because they got their land. Let's go ahead and get that real quick. I'm gonna close out on that, because this is the main stuff that these Christians don't be knowing. Uh, Isaiah 14 and 18, and this verse right here is the key to the whole operation. It say, all kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house. See, they in their house, they in their land, so they don't need no identity. Their identity ain't gonna help them do nothing. See, the identity of the Israelites is gonna help them go to their homeland. This is what the whole situation is about. It's going to help them recognize who they are, so they can be a fellow citizens with the saints, the Israelites, and come back to their heritage and make it back to the homeland. What is it? 30, 38. No, I'm thinking about Jeremiah. I think I probably lost this verse, but I'm going to try it. let me go into Ezekiel, because the whole purpose 39, as it said, it wraps it all up in one bingo 27, one verse. It say, when I have brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their enemies' land, and I am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations. See, this is what the whole situation is about. Say, then shall they know that I am the Lord their God, which caused them to be led into captivity, in the transatlantic slave trade, to be specific. See, among the heathen, but I have gathered them unto their own land and have left none of them any more there. See, this is what the whole purpose of the so-called Bible is about. It's not about running around talking about you're a Christian and Jesus can relieve you from your sins. No, the sins was only given to the Israelites. And when they broke them, they got to deal with it. And how they was going to deal with it is take their behind into slavery and chains. See, if you a citizen of America and you break American laws, you gonna go to the American prison, and America might even let you go to another prison somewhere else. And really, it's the so-called white man's law. But when you're talking about America, just keep it specific. If you break American laws, they got deals with other countries to send your behind back to America so they can punish your behind. We'll do whatever, and we gonna send them back to America and punish they behind right here for that law that they broke in our country. But you can leave the country and don't have to deal with the law. Once you leave that country, you ain't got to deal with that law. See, but when you come back, I'm gonna get you. But see, the Lord, what He did with Israel, you gonna have to deal with this law, and I'm gonna gather your behind back, just like the Americans. I'm bringing your behind back here. See, we gonna send some people to come get your behind and bring you back to America. The FBI, the CIA, see, and we gonna make you pay for it with the crime that you committed. You done fled the country. We gonna bring your behind back. And this is what the Lord is doing to the nation of Israel. They the only ones responsible for that law. See, just because He God, He God, He created everybody. We all responsible for that law. No. Y'all can eat pigs, crabs, lobsters. He didn't take y'all from y'all homeland. See, that's why in Psalms it talks about He didn't deal with no other nation but the Israelites, because the judgments that He gave to the Israelites, He didn't give to nobody else. See, He didn't. They can eat rats, bat soup, and all this crap, and He don't punish them, take them from their land. That was the main punishment the Lord was doing, taking people from their land, taking the Israelites away from their land when they was going to sit up here and break the law. So they didn't get the punishments of the law, take you away from your land. They kept their land and what He blessed them with. That's why Isaiah 14 and 18 is the key. All of these nations kept their land and they can do whatever they want. The law didn't, them breaking the laws didn't do nothing to them. See, but the Israelites breaking the laws threw they behind into captivity into their enemy's land. See, but I'm gonna leave it there. These people proved the whole situation. I just want to prove our situation that we on point and they cannot talk against the truth. They just prove without a shadow of a doubt that the Christianity is a white man religion. Because Christianity is not in the Bible. The Bible is all about the Israelites going to slavery and being brought back to their homeland. Point blank, it's a simple situation. Paul just showed it. You was foreigners, now we're going to bring you back and make you a citizen with the Israelites. But I'm going to leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash. Yahweh be the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai be the name of His only begotten Son, who the ignorant call Jesus Christ. Peace to the elect worldwide, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, descendants of slaves scattered around the globe on slave ships and through many captivities. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.